Hello, Courtney.
Hi.
How are you today?
Oh, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. So I just want to go over some few things that we went over in our first session, just as kind of a reminder.
Okay.
The first one is that I am in a class called Foundations of Clinical Intervention, and I'm under supervision of Dr. Warwa. So everything you share here is videotaped and will be shared with him.
Okay.
And also I'd like to go over confidentiality with you. And I have it sitting right here. So I can't break confidentiality with you unless I have your permission.
Okay.
If you say that you are going to harm yourself or others, if there's any child abuse or elderly abuse, or if there's a court order. So do you have any questions or concerns about any of those?
No, I don't.
Okay. So, last time I know that we had discussed you thinking about if you wanted to talk to your husband.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we did.
So, and you had that homework assignment to record if you
Yes.
thought that was a wise decision.
Yes.
How did you feel about that homework assignment?
Well, I did it.
Okay.
Not every day,
Okay.
but I did it, and I did actually speak to him.
Oh, okay.
So, that was good.
It seems like maybe that wasn't so good.
I have answers to things, I guess. Not answers I expected, but answers. So
Okay, you have answers. What does that mean?
about what was going on with him, that he all of a sudden wanted a divorce, wanted out the marriage, which before I didn't have. It was just kind of like very abrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, or it seemed that way to me. Maybe on his end of things it was a more thought out
Okay.
thing. Yes.
Okay, would you like to discuss how that conversation went with your husband?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure. We met and talked. I dropped the kids off at his new place. He got a place.
So he's no longer living with his
parents.
No. Okay.
No. So he asked to have the kids for the weekend, and so I said, sure, that's fine. Brought the kids, and him and I had a little conversation, after doing that assignment, and kind of thinking about if I wanted to have a conversation with him. I realized that I needed something for closure, something more than just, this is what I want. And so we chatted. It was a very long conversation where I felt like I was kind of pulling teeth, like, to get answers from him. It was just very long and drawn out, and I didn't think a conversation was going to go anywhere, honestly, at the rate it was moving. But he did finally give me a reason for why he wanted out of the relationship, of our marriage. So, yeah.
You seem to be upset, or is that accurate?
Upset, confused, upset, those things, all of those things.
So maybe a mix of a lot of emotions?
Yes,
okay.
yes. He has apparently, for many years, been struggling with his sexuality, something that I did not know, and has now decided that he would like to explore that. And so he didn't think that it would be fair to do that while still married, which I guess that's good. But,
Right.
mhm.
Wow, so you had this conversation with your husband where it seemed like it was more one-sided and you trying to talk to him and he was maybe pulling back and...
Yep.
Yeah.
Which, now knowing, I can kind of understand
Mhm.
why he seemed to avoid the conversation.
Right. So, how are you feeling about all of this?
I am feeling a lot of things. I am mad, I'm upset, I'm pretty angry, and confused, and not good emotions, I
Mhm.
guess. Yeah. I mean, who does that?
Mhm.
Who, uh, I,
So you're feeling hurt and upset and maybe even betrayed by your husband?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it, how does it take someone this long, I don't know, and to get married and to have children and to know that you have this inner struggle
Mhm.
is unfair. I feel that is unfair.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did you...
You know, what do we tell our children? What do you tell your children? What am I supposed to say?
Have you had that conversation with them, or has your husband or
No.
ex-husband had that conversation?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
No.
Mhm. While the two of you were married, did you ever feel like maybe he wanted to explore his sexuality or was maybe gay?
No. No, he was great. He was a great dad, good husband. I mean, worked a lot, but
Mhm.
in today's world, you know, maybe you have to put in a little bit more work to provide, and that was just kind of our life, but...
Mhm. So this must have come as a complete shock to you.
I thought he was kidding. I thought it was a joke.
Mhm.
And it wasn't. So, mhm.
Mhm. So how have you been coping with finding this out?
Well, I just found out 2 days ago. So, I think I'm still in shock, maybe.
Mhm.
I think that would be the accurate word.
Mhm.
So,
Do you have any coping skills that you use for maybe other things that have happened in your life that you could use for this situation? Maybe once it becomes real to you?
I have a pretty good network of friends and family, and those are usually people I go to talk about things. This I don't really know if I should be going to talk to people about quite yet. If he hasn't really told anyone.
Oh, he hasn't told anybody yet?
No.
Okay.
So I'm not sure what the line is there exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah. On the bright side, I got a job.
Oh,
So
that's good.
that's a good thing.
Uh-huh.
But I think now, knowing all of these things, it's just more things to figure out and deal with, and yeah.
You seem to be a little more maybe confident is the word, or less stressed than our previous sessions, even though you just found all of this out? You said 2 days ago.
Yeah, 2 days ago, yep.
You seem less down. Is that an accurate representation?
I, oddly enough, feel less down, and you would think that I would be feeling worse.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe because I now know that this has nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
That's just
Take some of the burden off.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So maybe this is, I don't want to say a good thing that it happened, but it seems like it has kind of helped you out a little bit.
I think that it has.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was feeling really down because I didn't understand what I could have, like what I did, did I do, but knowing this, there's really nothing I could do or could have done to prevent this divorce. It seems probably it was inevitable, now knowing what I know. So now it's just trying to figure out what to do with that information.
I wonder if it would have changed anything if you had known that this information sooner, like maybe when the topic of divorce was first brought up.
I think that it would have
How so?
changed things. I think that the way that I feel now would have been the way that I felt at that time versus my initial reaction to the news of the divorce.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm still in shock a little bit, so I'm not sure really what my reaction is from here.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Well, and it might take some time for all of this to kind of settle in and for you to really realize what's going on
Yes.
and how to handle something this big.
Yes. So I think he and I need to have a few more conversations maybe about it and how this affects our children and kind of what we're going to do from here.
After he told you, did he seem a little more open to having a conversation? Or was he still very guarded and...
I'll be honest, I was not the calmest person during that conversation.
Okay.
So, not my best moment.
Mm-hmm.
Not my best moment. But I think I was just reacting on emotion, and hindsight may change how I reacted. But I was angry and confused, and so I think that conversation really went well on his end of receiving my reaction.
Okay.
So I don't really know how open he would be to having another conversation, but I think if it's about our children, he would be more willing. And obviously I've had time to kind of cool down, so.
So you'd be having this conversation more for your children and how to bring that topic up to them and...
Or whether we do bring it up to them, not really sure. Or
How are you feeling about that?
I am feeling that it might be very confusing to them, and I don't know, what to do. What would you do? What would you do? Would you tell your children?
How old are your children?
Let's see. 7 and going to be 10.
Okay. So they're getting right around that age, where they're starting to to realize, you know, what's going on in the
And
family.
asking questions, very inquisitive.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. There's already been a lot of questions about, you know, where's Daddy? Why does Daddy not live here? Those kinds of things. And without really knowing the answer to that myself, I couldn't really give them answers. And now that I have one, I don't know if it's a good idea to give them that answer.
Right. And you haven't had that was never talked about with your husband when you two had that conversation? Okay.
No.
Okay. So, from what it sounds like, you and your husband have to have the conversation of if you're going to tell your children, and if you do decide to tell your children, how you're going to bring that up and explain it to them.
Yes. Yes. I don't know that they would understand it. Yeah. I don't necessarily think it's a good idea to tell them, but I mean, eventually they're probably going to have to know, but I think maybe right now is not the time.
Maybe wait until they're older, or wait until everything isn't so fresh for them.
Maybe wait until their father figures things out.
Very true.
You know, obviously if he were to get into another relationship, I think that conversation would have to be had. But I don't want to think about that right now, so.
Right. That must bring up a lot of emotion for you.
It does. I'm not sure how to feel, I guess. Yeah.
Maybe very confused.
I'm not really sure this means he's gay. Is he gay, or bisexual, or I'm not really sure. I don't really, we didn't really talk about that. And I'm not even sure if he knows the answer to that question. So, on my end of things, if he is only attracted to men, then I feel like he kind of, I don't remember how to put this. I don't want to say tricked me into having this life that's not real, because it's not, but yes. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. Lots of information.
Yeah. So maybe just confused about what your role was in his life and will be in the future. Okay, well, we've covered a lot of ground today.
Yes.
Yeah. Just so that I make sure that I understand everything that you've told me. You had a conversation with your husband where he was very distant, and it was more of you trying to have the conversation, and he told you that he wants to explore his sexuality, but didn't quite say what that meant for him. And the topic of how to bring this up, or if to bring it up to your children, was never touched on.
No.
And you're feeling very confused and hurt and betrayed and kind of a lot of emotions right now.
Yes.
And it hasn't quite sunk in yet, but you're thinking it probably will sink in.
It'll get there.
Yep. Okay. Well, do you have any questions or concerns that you would like to bring up before we end our session today?
No, I think that was a lot. So.
Yep. Yep. All right. Well, we will pick up here when we meet again.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.